Well, folks, we kicked off Monday Night Raw with the visionary Seth Rollins making his way down to the ring with Paul Heyman, Bron Breakker, and big old bad Bronson Reed. Heyman started on the mic, obviously, and he introduced the people standing next to him. Bron Breakker is the attack dog and the future Terminator who will be headlining WrestleMania 45 through 50, which is a big spoiler as he goes. He goes, that's not a warning, that's not a prediction, that's a spoiler, which is actually really, really good. Bronson Reed is the monster in a PG era. Then he came to Rollins, and he was like, he built him up to be the most important figure in all of wrestling history, and that he is the future of this industry. Rollins then took the mic and he brought this group together just so he could save the future of this industry. As you can see, there's a lot of the future of this industry, which is actually very interesting terminology, I think is the best way to describe it. Mostly because we got John Cena on SmackDown, I'm going to destroy wrestling. And then you got Seth Rollins, I'm the savior of wrestling. So I think, you know what, it could be going that Seth Rollins could be the one to beat John Cena in the last month of his retirement. You never know with this. But obviously with all of this, the crowd then started chanting F you Rollins, and he just ate it up. He was working the crowd so well. And he is the only one who's saying that he is capable of having you sing along to my song and then you start chanting obscenities. Similar to how John Cena was going, like, you got the crowd saying one thing, but you think you're this, you don't wear this, you don't have hustle, loyalty, respect, and all those shenanigans, which is actually really, really fun. But then he said that the reason that the future is in his hands, he's going to qualify for Money in the Bank. He's going to win said briefcase, and then he will have the destiny of whichever title he chooses in his hands. Which to me, he may win Money in the Bank. He may go on not to face Jey Uso, but to face John Cena, the savior of the industry in Seth Rollins, against John Cena, the man who wants to destroy wrestling. There's some things going on by there. But overall though, it was a good start to the show, and it actually makes us look forward to what Rollins is going to do, because later on in the show, the main event is Seth Rollins, Sami Zayn, Finn Balor qualifying match for Money in the Bank. We then went straight into our first Money in the Bank qualifier match, which, as you can see, folks, we had Chad Gable, we had Dragon Lee, we had Penta. And this match, we just knew it was going to be a great and exciting match, mostly because of the three men involved, which is exactly what it was. We did get a few close calls, and we got Chad Gable, who outshined both Penta and Dragon Lee, which, to be honest with you, that's kind of hard to do unless you are someone of Chad Gable's caliber. This guy is this generation's Kurt Angle, and I don't care what other people say. This guy is just that damn good. It also keeps Chad Gable as Grande Americano interesting, because you got him now losing this match to two Mexican luchadors. If it was Grande Americano, would he have won? No one knows. But with this, there's a few spots which are absolutely awesome. Dragon Lee tried doing a springboard sunset flip over Chad Gable, but Gable turned it into a suplex with a bridge, which looked absolutely incredible. But we also got a spot with, if someone with a smaller neck, they were probably going to the hospital. Penta got Chad Gable up into the pile driver where you hook their arms and you bring them up. And he also had Dragon Lee on his back. But when he went down, Chad Gable's neck and hair just landed like by there on the mat. Like a boom. And if it was someone, like say with a smaller neck, smaller frame, it would have been over. If it was done on Akira, it would have been over. Guarantee it. But Chad Gable is just such a beast. He carried on. But then obviously what we got is we actually got Penta getting the win after Vikingo got involved and he kicked Chad Gable in the face, which made Gable bleed. And Dragon Lee did the stomp, but Good old Penta got the Mexican Destroyer onto Dragon Lee, and then he pinned Gable for the win. For the 1, 2, 3, we have Penta going to Money in the Bank ladder match, which again, straight away, that just makes this entire match a lot more exciting when you have someone like Penta and ladders are involved. After the awesome qualifier match, before the Akira against Rusev match, which again we know is just going to be a complete domination, we were backstage with the Judgment Day. Now, this was a very interesting segment because it puts a lot of things going forward, like, right, okay, we're laying the foundation, you know? So, we had Dirty Dom and Carlito playing WWE 2K25. Roxanne Perez comes in with a plate of chicken nuggies. And she's like, oh, Dom, do you want some? And he's like, oh, yeah, I'll have some. And then she's like, oh, your shoulder looks tense. Let me rub it. Obviously, things are being stirred. But then all we heard was, konnichiwa, bitches. Liv Morgan is back. She saw what was going on, and she just went straight up to Dom like, what is going on? We also found out that Raquel has been communicating with Liv. Obviously, they were their friends, but she's been telling Liv everything that's been going on. So obviously, we are going to see Liv and more than likely Roxanne fight for dominance in Judgment Day, I think. That'll probably be the best to describe it. But with this, though, the best line came from Carlito. When Liv Morgan walked off with Raquel, and he just looked at Dom and said, you gotta try and stop eating her nuggies, which was amazing. And you could just see everyone was like, oh my god, what's going on here? And Carlito was just there with his apple, you know, as he always is. But after the return of Liv, obviously, we did have Akira taking on Rusev. We knew exactly what was going to happen, and Akira tried to do a bit of justice, but nothing happened. It was over in like 60 seconds to 2 minutes flat. And obviously after the bell, Rusev would not let go until Sheamus came on down. Then they just stared each other, and Rusev kind of backed down and slinkered away into the back. Are we going to get Rusev versus Sheamus? Because to be honest with you, that would be one hell of a match. Next up was the triple threat match for the World Tag Team Championships, folks. We had the New Day, we had the War Raiders, we had the Creed Brothers. 6 extremely talented men, which sadly the crowd just didn't seem to be that much involved and bothered with this match. But the match overall was great. I really enjoyed it. We started with all 6 men just going out brawling, but then the War Raiders took over. They were dominating. That was until the New Day and the Creed Brothers decided to actually join forces to take out the War Raiders. And with this though, the match did have some good spots, and the New Day did get the win when they seized the moment, which is what they've been doing a lot of recently since they turned heel and winning the championships. They've been getting involved, but not getting involved. And I really do think it's sad for especially the tag teams on Raw. These teams that were in this match, these 6 men are awesome. They are incredible workers, they're incredible bump takers, and with the War Raiders, you got some of the best super heavyweights in the world doing things that someone of their size should not be doing, if that makes any sense. You know, it's like me if I try to moonsault and I'm a big dude. I'm like, yeah, that's just not going to come off. But with the War Raiders, it just seems to flow, which is a nice thing to see. But I really do wish that they would do more than just, oh, you're taking on the War Raiders, the Creed Brothers, the New Day, and just literally just going round in circles, just rotating the matches. I do think that Raw needs a brand new male tag team, mostly because if you look at SmackDown, they've got some of the best in the world. Well, actually they have. They got the best of the entire WWE roster. But these guys need something just to go out there and not just keep losing week after week. After the tag team championship match, we had heavyweight champ Jey Uso making his way to the ring. He was there to discuss his upcoming tag team with Cody Rhodes against John Cena and Logan Paul at Money in the Bank. But before any of that could happen, Gunther made his way out. We have seen this now since the Rumble, where Uso talks or Gunther talks and the other one comes out. It's gotten really boring now, and I really hope that we can see something else, because before these guys are just having a match, it's just back and forth talking. not getting involved with other people or whatever. And it's sad because it's just repetitive. Like we were saying with the tag team match, it's just rotating. Oh, you go out this week, and then Uso will attack. Oh, Uso, you go out, Gunther will come out. And it's like, really? Come on. It's almost like they haven't got anyone else to fill in those spots. Again, we know Gunther wants the belt back, but I'm pretty sure there's other ways that this could work out. Hell, Money in the Bank. Have Gunther come out to distract Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes gets pinned. Something like that. That's what I hope will happen. But after this, though, we then went actually into Liv Morgan taking on Kairi Sane. Now, this was actually a very entertaining and a very competitive match, which I was actually really shocked by, because I thought they were going to try and be like, oh, Liv's back, we're going to make it out to be a squash match. Well, I was wrong, and I'm actually really happy I was, because like I said, this is a very entertaining match. There was a couple of good spots, I guess by here, when Liv did a sunset flip into a powerbomb, which I'm actually really glad we're seeing this move now utilized a lot, because before it would be just people like RVD, Jeff Hardy, Jerry Lynn, AJ Styles and TNA, that sort of thing. That's where we saw a lot of it. But now it's come over, and I'm actually glad it's being utilized a lot more because, well, for one, it just looks awesome. Especially if Davis done on the outside, because it looks and sounds painful. But with this though, when Sane set up for the insane elbow, Roxanne Perez came on down and pushed her off the top rope. Obviously, we're going to see Roxanne Perez and Liv Morgan have some kind of feud in the near future, because why would this all of a sudden be done instantly, But with this though, this actually started an argument between Raquel and Roxanne. And with that, obviously Liv was a little bit like, what's going on? What's happening? She was outside looking at them, and that's when Sane rolled her up and she got the win. She got the 1, 2, 3. And obviously afterwards, we actually saw backstage where Liv, she had a go at Raquel, not Roxanne. And she's like, you're the veteran out there, you should have known better. And she walked away. It was like, oh, well, that's an interesting dynamic, because first of all, she was pissed that Roxanne was in the clubhouse. But now she's having to go with her tag team partner. And remember, they are the women's tag team champions. Is there a breakup coming and Raquel going, or is Liv gonna go? Nobody knows. But Liv lost, Sane won. Great and entertaining match. Next up, we had a confrontation between Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch. Again, feeling a bit repetitive like the Jey Uso and Gunther series. And, these two went at it. They're talking about the upcoming rematch, which is happening at Money in the Bank. And there was a stipulation thrown in where Lyra Valkyria, if she loses, she will have to raise Becky Lynch's arm in the middle of the ring. And if Becky Lynch loses, well, Becky will never face off for the IC title again. Which, this just spoils the outcome of the match straight away, because when there's any stipulation like this, you know that Becky Lynch or whoever says, I won't challenge for that belt ever again, and they're the ones who are going to win the match. People could bring up the fact that obviously we had, The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels streak versus Korea, which again, people knew that Undertaker was going to win, no matter what. Even though those two matches are the best WrestleMania, well, hell, they're the best wrestling matches of all time. The second one is the best ever. The first one is just absolutely phenomenal, with only one little mistake, and that was when Taker obviously missed the cameraman, and that's it. Everything else was just pure brilliance. But when you get Becky Lynch saying, I'll never challenge for the belt again if I lose, you just know she's gonna win. Now we rolled into the main event, folks. Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Sami Zayn. Qualifier match for the Money in the Bank ladder match. It was a very good main event, I will say that, and it was a very good main event to finish off Raw. We saw some great spots and some great action between these three, but we knew it was going to happen because obviously no DQ for these matches, and we knew that Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker were going to get involved, and they did. But we also got Dirty Dom intervening on Finn Balor's behalf, which didn't exactly go to plan. But Seth Rollins got the win, and then he instructed Reed and Breakker to attack Sami. Not attack Finn, but attack Sami, which obviously they obliged to. They started beating on Sami. Jey Uso made the run in and started helping Sami, but then obviously Reed and Breakker, they just overpowered them both, and they were beating the living hell out of them. But after that though, what happened? CM Punk's music hit, baby, and everyone's attention turned to the ramp. But what was gonna happen though? CM Punk came in from behind, he done the GTS on Rollins as the show went off the air. It was actually a really good little spot, because when Punk came in, GTS on Rollins straight away, and then he just ran into the crowd, and he was up there with Jey Uso. Normally comes down with the heated, and he's just there like, he's there, he's asleep, and obviously Heyman's like, oh my god, what's happened? It was just chaos, and it was brilliant to see. But to be honest with you, with this now, are we going to see CM Punk intervene in Money in the Bank? There's so many things that could happen with this. It's just great to see that they are utilizing the majority of the big players in Raw. Sadly, though, they are underutilizing Gunther and Jey Uso for their little feud. You talk, now I talk. Oh, next week you go out, talk. And it's like, come on. People don't want to see that. They want to see interventions. They want people going in and just taking out people. Like I'm saying, with the interventions, they want people to come and say, what are you doing? You gotta stop this. If you go against Gunther, a bit like how Jimmy Uso did to Jey a couple of months before WrestleMania. Those sort of things. But as the show was going off the air, it was a good and entertaining Monday, and I will give this a solid 8.0 out of 10. We had some great matches, some great future setups, and the new entrance for Money in the Bank. I just can't wait for that ladder match. I think it's going to be extraordinary. Subscribe and like, folks, and I'll see you in the next video.